It is the environment that is weakening every one of us. We are talented as a people. We are brilliant as a people. But what can you do when you know so much and the facilities are not around for you to operate? So we will be managing with what we are having. And Nigeria generally, there are some structures on ground that are not really favorable, like the federal character. It has great merit, like the areas of merit moderate in society, whereby people do not even believe in the certificate they even have at hand. Employers are even no more anywhere. Everything is upside down. Making Fela Anikulapo Kuti's observations when he was alive to be not predictive and prophetic, that everything is upside down, except in the areas of communication, where things are really thriving. Otherwise, other sectors are in shambles, not supporting anything. And that is why it's easy to cook, easy to cook or fuel up violence. But you will see some people even getting just 5,000 naira, carrying out your instructions. But they want to eat and they must eat. So a situation whereby this particular government started with change, and they defined it: zero tolerance to corruption and indiscipline. And only a fool will not take to that. But our expectation became so high, and we have been disappointed because things were not going that particular way. All over the world, I believe that every nation depends on what happens globally. Like this Ukraine, Russia issue. It ought to have favored us. But because of the structures on ground here, whereby you have the crude oil, and you have to send it overseas to become refined, and your refineries are not really working. So what else do you think? What kind of gain do you think we can have from such situation? So I think whoever is going to come up as Mr. President, as Mr. Governors, they need to really respect the yearnings of Nigerians. We are dying. Nigerians are dying daily. Not because of, look at Human Development Index, very, very low. Those areas, all those indicators of development, they are low here. Infrastructural development index, very, very low. And when it comes to world rating, they are always at the bottom ladder of. So you could see that we are not really operating democracy into this sense, because democracy respects justice, respects freedom of the people, as well as that nobody should be marginalized. If you operate democracy practically, we don't need to begin to shout promotion of inclusive society. It's already embedded in the definition of democracy. So we are now managing what? Managing insecurity in place of peace. We are managing poverty. We are managing hunger, diseases, and all those things in place of sustainable development. Mainly because within the government regime, we are experiencing kleptocracy. And on the side of the people, the governed, we are experiencing abject poverty. So when you have such a situation, I'm telling you, there is no way one will be able to manage and to appreciate government. And even some states where we believe that things are really working, a lot of the legacies supposed to be kept and bequeathed to the younger ones are already sold. They are already sold. So you could see that the legacy of our founding fathers are already rubbished, abused. And this is why we must shine our eyes. We must try as much as possible to think well, shunning all forms of abuses, all forms of sentiments. Religion must not come in to divide you. It's supposed to unite you. Ethnicity has to be forgotten. We are all human beings. All scriptures believe that we are human beings. It is we, the human being, that have come up with what they can describe as a social construct. It's a social construct when you think what happens to a Fulani does not concern you. What happens to a Yoruba man does not concern you as an Igbo man. That's a social construct. The divine construct wants us to see, to be our brother's keeper. So if really we want to interpret religion and want to operationalize it, it is about unity. It's about love. It's about synthesis, building. And it's about thinking about the next tomorrow. That is the youth. Who is going to take over? So these are the areas that we've been, and the kind of oppositions we are having in Nigeria when it comes to political parties, very caustic, very, very abusive, never saying anything good, perceived opposing political parties or the ruling party. I think we have to change that orientation. A winner takes all in any election will never bring us any good. These are the things that have been, what we are supposed to do is that immediately you come in as Mr. President and Mr. Governor, take a reasonable percentage from your party who are very good and excellent. Take some percentage from the opposition. And some of us are not into politics, but we have this wisdom. We have experiences, which we can use to really bigger, because the focus, the essence of voting is to put in credible leader that will be able to lead all of us. You are from APC, once you become Mr. President, you are our president. President of PDP, president of APC, president of Accord, all those things. And president of those of us that do not even believe in following the crowd when it comes to politics. So if we are able to be holistic in viewing things like that, everybody will be able to enjoy under any government that must come in. So my advice is that this 2023 election is supposed to be our turning point regarding how best to manage the nation well. For example, if we want Nigeria to continue, I want it to develop. Any incoming president, incoming governor, incoming legislators, incoming House of Federal House of Rep and other things, they must try as much as possible to look at the agitations from the people. What exactly is the problem? Starting from the ASU angle, how much do you want to give these people? Even if they get this money and they use it on their, how much do you want to give them? When you compare the huge salary being given to political people in positions of power. So how much? Why are you really discouraging not motivating the powerhouse. Well, the powerhouse of any nation is your education. You see, educational institutions. That is the powerhouse. When you disable it, the whole nation is already disabled and examined. So, and most of the time when you look at the youth, apathy will be there, will build up for them towards education. That's, look at this professor that is just wearing a Tata cloth all about. I don't think there is anything in this book, Ojari. And when people like those were about to pass out of universities and all those things, the slogan, those who know the way, know the book or so whatever, it embarrassed me. It embarrassed me because you won't be able to defend your certificates. Look at those experiments they have been making. Government realized one thing: no employment. And they realized that in every person there is innate power that must have been bequeathed you from your parents. The profession of your parents is already in your blood. So that is where the areas of vocations comes in. So they came out with entrepreneurship courses in the tertiary institutions. We are managing with entrepreneurial subjects in the secondary school. For the people in the tertiary institutions, you have your course of study, your discipline. But for those people that will be graduating, it's compulsory that you choose a practical vocation of interest, which will be supported by all those courses you must have undergone through, you must have gone through while in the course of your study. Now, a lot of people became so fully endowed with skill development through this, but by the time they come out of the university, they go for NYSC. By the time they come back, there is no work. What else? With the experience they have gathered, and we beg governments, there are two options for you. Create a People's Bank type, which will be very special for these people. Whenever they come in, let them have access to loan that will not have that not be up to 2 digits. This single digit interest. For them to be able at least to government never succumb to that. Then we advise them during the course of their work while in NYSC, double their salaries, their emoluments. Give them half. Keep half for them. Immediately they pass out, give them the bulk. And let them show you what they want to do with it regarding the vocation they must have learned. We will have generated a lot of people, graduates that will be self-employed and creating jobs even for others. I thought these things, you talk, we have changed Nigeria into just a mere talk shop. That is my problem with Nigeria now. Why will we not be backing up what we profess with the reality of the time in terms of what? In terms of the practical aspect of it, upholding practical aspect of it. When one becomes a professor, there's a challenge for you. They will ask you, what are you professing? So if we look at you and there's no research product from you, they doubt you. If you look at it, you have not written any books, they doubt you because you are not really professing anything. You have nothing to show for what you are professing, and you say you are a professor. The same thing now applies to every facet of life. Whatever we profess to be, we must justify it. And that is why the incoming government must try as much as possible. I pity Buhari for one thing. They will have left him alone when he came up. But immediately he came on board, hate speech was what they were rolling out to him. He will soon wear pampers. He will do this and that. Even if you are as an ordinary head of a house, if you are daily being insulted, will you be able to continue doing the goodwill for anybody? That was the beginning of our problem. So by then the voodoo attack, sending him to compulsory hospitalization. So what is, by the time he comes up, he happens to come up, no motivation. They say jubilee from. So when you look at all this, we are really planting seeds of discord. I wonder what we will now be doing to anybody that comes in now as a president of Nigeria after him. I just pray that they don't drop hope on this dirty way of it. We are supposed to honor and revere our leaders, no matter what. When you motivate a leader, when you demand anything from him, he will think twice before rejecting you. But when you continue to insult a leader, even if he has anything for you, those around him will say, you better don't kill yourself over all these useless people. So we have to really know that it is a sociological challenge we are having, and we have to improve on that.
What we find ourselves at the end of this year is essential aspect of being major things in Hausa, Yoruba, and what is the way out of this? That's number one. Then number two, what do you think in between to get successful emergency in India, and how do you think the way Nigeria will be after the election?
I want to appeal to all Nigerians that we must try as much as to seize the opportunities given us by God. We have a lot of mosques. Of what relevance are they? When the users, most especially the religious leaders, do not really believe in the mosque to solve or to force us into a United Nations. What of the churches? Look at the number. Of what relevance are they? If religious leaders from all this angle fail to commune with God, to show us the way and to support us to achieve, where a lot of political pundits, because of the hostile environment of insecurity, believe that even the election might not take place. So with God, all things are possible. Without God, those who labor, they do so in vain. That is the stand of Psalm 127 verse 1. And it's beyond a religious sentiment. It's a universal statement that has universal applications to human activities in life. So suffice it now to say that as of now, all churches and mosques and other faith-based organizations must be mindful of the fact that God enthrones and God dismantles. That is just it. And God allows you to really request for what you think you want. Let us develop positive mindset to wish Nigeria well. That this 2023 election must be successful by the behest of Allah, by the behest of God, and it will be successful. That is number one. Number two is that when you look at it ordinarily, you will agree with me that the top or leading presidential candidates. All of them have their antecedents, negative and positive. But the way of man is not always the way of God. So, and that is why we must resort to spiritual imploration and exploration for God to really show us where exactly are we going. I've done so, but I'm always afraid that if I just come up and say this is what is going to happen, am I discouraging those people that have spent so heavily? Am I not discouraging them? That's why I've been avoiding. The brother Shon was in Shafaudi, the person that will win. And it has given us the reason why those people that will lose. Not because they are not as good as the person that will come in. In fact, as of now, I now realize the wisdom in what General Obasanjo said when he was the head of state. I think it was 1978 when Shagari, Waziri, Aminu Kano, Azikiwe, and Awolowo stood before him. And he just declared like that the best of you may not necessarily win the election. So he was talking of the will of God. If then we were looking at the best, Awolowo was the best. And it would have even changed a lot of things for better. But the least of them was chosen by God. Whether you cook the election, and that is. So the American way is that when the referee does not see you, you go away with your loot. So that is just it. So what I'm saying in essence is that whoever comes in, let us try as much as possible support whoever comes in. Let's bury the hatchets of ethnicity. Let's bury the hatchets of religious sentiments. Nigeria belongs to all of us, whether we say there is no God or this God is that of Shango or whatever. Whichever way you say it, God remains God. And nothing can change. It's absolute. So this land has been given us. We do not have any other place we can run to. Even if we escape, within short time, we'll be having that feeling of coming back home. That is just it. So,
Ukraine, Russia. Do you see an end to the war in 2023? America, the stance of America, as well as China, where do you see when
2023, there is one thing that we must realize. When we thought the civil war will last for just 3 months, we discovered it lasted for 3 years. Why? We were looking internally that one side was fighting Ojukwu side. But later on, when you are reading that one book, the last book, written by Chinua Achebe, there was once a country, you will see the level. In fact, if not that God just decided that Nigeria would be, they had been accepted almost all over the world. That Chinua Achebe happened to be one of the big brains being used as envoy for Biafra. So they will have overrun also. Nobody knew that they would have such a support. Internal affairs. So although when you now look at Ukraine in that sense, you can't predict anything that it may end here, because the Allied forces are still there with the US and all those things, fueling this and fueling that. And you know that this particular man, Vladimir or whatever, Putin, is a stubborn person. Russian characteristics that they don't believe anybody can defeat them. And their interest in Ukraine is just like you and your wife. You have a lot of benefit from your wife. And some people say your wife should come come and dine with them. So that's just it. They have a lot of resources. I could remember when we were studying things on material technology, and we discovered that cement deposits, carbonates, iron ore, a lot of mineral resources are in that Ukraine. So no reasonable superpower will ever want to go to any other place. They've been enjoying themselves, they've been enjoying it. So, but prayer can dissolve any intractable problem. That is my own belief. It is only God's intervention that can stop that war. You and me continue to hold meetings and all those things. But they are all human beings, and every one of them has that interest. Remember that at international level, conspiracies are always very complex. So we only need to pray, and people that love peace must try as much as well to prevail on them. That's just it. We need divine intervention to stop them. That is about that. So the prediction, let us first prophecy, there is limit of time for its manifestation. That is Quran says verse 67. And assuredly, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot or little will by no means pass from the Lord. That's his prophecy till all is fulfilled. That's Matthew 5 verse 18. But the essence of prediction is to alert those people in the helm of the affairs, to give them the directions through what they should be mindful of. It's not to scare. I hate a kind of prediction that will say somebody will die. What if you die first before that person dies? And so you don't threaten people with death and all those things. It's nonsense. It's supposed to be issue driven. Beware of threat of secession and consequence of nightmare not to come into reality, at least through one of the agitators. And you see, from my own perception, that east is a time bomb. With Kano under the hold of the federal government. That place, look at those years they have been spending Biafran money. So in some other West African countries, they are more than being prepared. But what are responsible for the agitations to succeed? Awolowo, when you read that book, I'm telling you, what is happening today is already been predicted in that book that was once a country. The last book written by Chinua Achebe. He accused Awolowo of what? That he was the first person that tempted them into war. That he told them that if the Igbos go, then the Yorubas will go. But Awolowo never prepared anybody for war. He only, out of wisdom, used those threats to ensure that the Hausas do not allow the Igbos to go. It's a kind of a metaphor. So, but ironically, they took it literally. And today, when you now see some Yorubas meeting with the Igbos, meeting with they will exclude the Hausas, and they will now agree. What is happening now is that when you say you are going, you can start yours now. So that we believe that Awolowo will stop thinking that he caused us problem. That's what is on ground. And the problem we are now looking at is, let us look at the Yoruba something. We are overdue for agitation because we are used to development. And since we have gone this federalism and all those things, whereby the regional setting had gone. The resource control is no more in anybody's hand. Somebody from afar, our top, will now be giving you some pittance to go and use another thing. So we know it's not okay. But if you want to go, if you're agitating to go, there must have been a lot of things in place. Oh. Yoruba don't have anything in place. Oh. The Igbos have a lot of things in place. Oh. So, romance of anybody that wants to champion the cause must think more of the masses. Are we prepared for anything? So, this particular government that will be coming up must try as much as possible to work on that area. And if you want to work on that area, you must go back to what led to Biafran War. It was marginalization. Marginalization. And this man had shown us that where people that mattered failed, ordinary people can succeed. That's Yaradua for you. Look at how they were killing those militants and all those things, and he came there, as sickly as he was able to dole out something, and before you know, the rest of youth were calmed down. Let's just face the reality of life and do the needful. The incoming government must try as much as possible to save Nigeria by doing the right thing, not to allow any of the sections to go. It's important. Human beings were always very impatient. It's a sociological challenge. We are temperamental. But whoever wants to be a leader must recognize all these things and have a therapy, and have a panacea to why we must not allow the country to break. Do the needful, not to allow it. Restructuring is eminent, is important. Whether we kill the youth under the NSAS peaceful protest, or you are silencing people who wants to say we have to. Nwabueze came out and said he was sorry on behalf of others, the so-called 49 wise men who built up, who rubbished 1963 constitution and beat up 1979 constitution, taking away the resource control, taking away the power that we can easily use to develop our state, our region. He's now begging. He said he thought that you allow the power to be concentrated at the center, that there will be unity. That is human angle. I don't blame him. That was the best nature could give them. At that particular time, they were thinking, they were working on Nigeria to be better. But did they consult God? No. Any woman among them? No. So you could see the lapses. So they must do the needful in terms of restructuring. And restructuring, if you want to really do it, is needed as a result of the faulty constitution. Faulty, defective constitution 1999 as amended. That's why we are still having all this particular problem. Look at an example of Mr. President wanting autonomy for local governments, telling the governors that give these people their money. They say you should go into the constitution, that there is a bottleneck there. Under that, they hide. Something we know that is really not giving us that freedom to develop. If at local government level, they were being, if their record is that they have been barbaric in the way they have been mismanaging our money. Why can't we put up a mechanism that we monitor anything going there that will be more powerful than EFCC to fish them, so that, because naturally when you look at the way they manage our money, you will say, Saka Saka, every weekend. You see them. You now look at their certificates, and you look at your certificate. Oh no, King Mosefo, why you did this to me? So that is just it. We know that there have been abuses in the local at the local government level, but this does not say that they should be surrogates. They are now surrogates now. That is why if any new governor comes in, he will first of all rubbish those people that were there, and then that was what Madam Fodo did in the north, and we were crying. If you don't accept Islam, if you are Noba, you forfeit it. We put his people here. So we should be away. We should discard from all those barbaric way of doing things. We should be more civilized. So we should must try as much as possible to put things right. So this is why I will appeal to all of us that incoming government must look into a way of handling this restructuring issue in a way that will benefit Nigeria to grow, benefit all of us that are alive, and those people that are yet to be born. It is important. And if it to be done, it should not be as like a jamboree. The one done under Jonathan was more of a jamboree, although our document. But when you look at those people that were picked, those people that have nothing to do with the lives of the people, I'm picking this because we are in this, we are this, or that, or that. No. You look around into the four sectors. The four sectors are the culture. The second one, education. The third one, religion. The fourth one is political realm. We have a lot of good people there in all this. Feed them out and then forget about those who are sentimentally chosen as the best from religion. Do you choose the best people for God? God will choose the best people for you. That is how it's supposed to be. We know the antecedent of people. We know those people that really have passion for the masses. We know them, and we know those people that are using the masses to acquire wealth. So we must not make that mistake. Those people that have this thing, the gumption, those people that have this brain, these are the kind of people that can resolve. It's not about money. It's not of this. Let us look for people that are really passionate, that are committed to the cause of Nigeria and the cause of the unity of Nigeria. That is just that. So efforts, however, will be made to prevent debate. I believe they will do it. That is what God showed us. Secondly, 2023 election shall hold after all. For the presidency, APC Tinubu may have an easy ride. PDP Atiku may face the pressure of internal crisis of the party. The outreach of the NNPP, Kwakwaso, will be too short to connect across the nation, while the popularity of the LPOB may suffer from the antecedent of the suspicious move of his people. He goes into a certain form. That is what God revealed. The specific incidents now. Political cross-carpeting and blackmail shall make some politicians to fall by the wayside. Bad economy and brain drain syndrome will be addressed. Pray against another stalemate in education administration. Pray against another stalemate in education administration. I know why I'm so suspicious of this. I'm not being skeptical. Because you have not addressed this ASU thing. You are only forcing a power over them, forcing power over those people that are intelligent. Because they are not holding guns. Even if an ordinary person from a village is cheated this year, he will be looking for a way of telling you that he's not a fool. Not to talk of those people that have traveled all over the world, that have produced, the governors produced the best brain in the world. And you are toying with their life because they are in Nigeria. The university system is already a problem now. Even if you are there and you are not happy, what can you do? What of those people that have come and they are enjoying themselves there? I had one professor, he was then a doctor, but he later became a professor. When I was reading my MSc, he was always from Singapore. Then later, this place. Even then, that was 1989, 1990. Even then, the environment was not as hostile as this. Under globalization, under internet-driven driven environment. So, we have to be careful. Traps of insecurity shall be detected and addressed. Religious activities shake-up shall be experienced. A lot of houses of God will go. I'm telling you. Just let us continue to work. God can, he's been patient, very, very patient for all of us. He's been patient. A lot of friends. Where we expect sacredness, it is profanity also. Where we expect people to call Mr. President to order with that power of the Holy Spirit, to call this to order, to call that to order, they are now trading, commercializing things, competing with those people that are in affluence. Is that the work of the church? Is that the work of the mosque? Who is to moderate us when religious leaders become rotten? So that area, sports shall receive favorable boosts. We must guard against sabotage that may frustrate efforts. Shake up in the aviation industry is imminent. Guard against road accidents and breakdown of vehicles on our roads. Prevent fire outbreak from air sector too. So that is a general. We have done it from month to month and all those things. So I think this is a summary of what we should expect in 2023. And just as I said the other time, divine revelations are predictive for proactive measures in management and administration, rebranding for proper socialization, correct cultural and ethical value orientation for promotion of integrity, and discipline for all must be put in place to allow divine intervention revamping our economy to promote healthy and stable polity, as well as principle of equity, are very much needed. So the essence of revealing what is going to happen, those that are very, very okay, I think it's in line with what the Quran says, that whatever happens to you that is positive is because you have done my will. That's God. And if anything befalls you and it's negative, it means you are not scripture compliant. You have violated some of my rules. That's why it's now a more waterloo in your life. And that even religious leaders must try as much as possible not to become scapegoats of victim of circumstances. Because God does not have any, he's not sentimental about anybody. Good governance is a function of godly leadership. Quran 30 verse 26. And bad governance is a dividend of bad leadership. Daniel 5:25 to 28. Therefore, the essence of this revelation is for the political class to imbibe the culture of tolerance and focus on the issue of welfare importance. The religious sector must therefore imbibe the culture of religious harmony to promote peace and be more dedicated to the cause of discipline, love, and cultural patriotism to move the nation forward. With this, we may avoid stalemate to save our democracy. Thank you.
The last question is you mentioned senators, all of them will be elected, and how APC has like
in Oyo State is between Folarin and incumbent. And because of the, you can't predict them, because the incumbent is now amphibious. You don't know where he is, and it's part of political gimmick, which is allowed. And it comes like that mainly because of the 5 governors clustering together against what they perceived as cheating on the agreed something within the party. We know the story. So it's between the two. So they may concede. One may concede for the other based on the power that be in the APC. And they may disagree. If they disagree, Fulani will have his way. If they agree, that our governor will have his way. That's just it's between the two of them. But what God says is that if A comes in, you may not enjoy him. But if B comes in, you will enjoy him. I don't know A. I don't know B.